Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Kester, your 2020 Missouri Realtors virtual president. It is my pleasure and my honor to officially welcome you to the Missouri Realtors September Business Conference and now our second virtual state business conference. Before going any further, let's honor our country.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose large stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red flag come on bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, save us that star-spangled banner yet for the land of the and the home
Wow, that was great. You know, when we're together in person, I would not want to miss the opportunity after the pledge or national anthem to introduce our realtors who are veterans. Even though you can't stand up for us today, for us to clap for you, to the realtor veterans and families of veterans, those currently serving our country, please know that you are appreciated for your service more than we could ever convey. Thank you. Given these unique times we continue to work and live in, I'd also like to recognize all those on the front lines who have worked so hard so we could stay home or stay safe for much of this year. I would also like to introduce your 2020 leadership team, and you've heard me call them this before. They're the dream team. These are the people without whom this year would not have been possible. President-elect Janet Rodriguez-Judd, Treasurer John Mayfield, Treasurer-elect Andrea Sheridan, immediate past President Brenda Oliver, and the CEOist with the mostest, John Seabury. As all of you know, each business conference has a theme. Our January theme was Engage, and our April theme was Advocate. The theme for our final business conference this year is Lead. These are the three core values in our strategic plan. This opening session is dedicated to diversity and inclusion. The Strategic Planning Committee passed a motion earlier this year supporting a diversity summit for this fall. Well, given the nature of our get-togethers, we've not quite made that happen. And made it to the full statewide diversity summit that we do plan to host. But today will be a great step towards that effort. Diversity and inclusion is firmly anchored within our strategic plan and our governance structure. It's not only an approach to meet the needs of an increasingly diverse market by providing exceptional real estate services and solutions, but also a renewed association commitment to support an inclusive culture and management practice to leverage our full potential. It's crucial that our members and our leaders know and understand the commitment to diversity and inclusion, as well as what's expected of them. I welcome you to peruse the new diversity and inclusion section of our website highlighting our commitment and association resources. We must put a special emphasis on strengthening inclusive leadership. We have leaders with us today who epitomize inclusive leadership. And before we introduce our panelists, let me welcome your 2020 President-elect, Janet Rodriguez-Judd, who will co-host this panel discussion with me. Janet, welcome. We have four other special guests. There she is.
Hi.
We have four other special guests with us as well, and please help me welcome Ericca Willis, president of the NAREB St. Louis chapter. Ericca is an agent with Blue Key Realty in St. Louis. James Huang, national president of the Asian Real Estate Association of America, Jim's with Sperry Commercial Global Affiliates in Irvine, California. And we have Ryan Weyandt, CEO and founder of the very newly minted LGBTQ plus Real Estate Alliance. Ryan is a mortgage loan officer with U.S. Bank in St. Paul, Minnesota. And representing the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, we have Jorge Guerra, who John Seabury says is a rock star. George is on the board of directors of the South Florida chapter of NAREP and is also currently serving as the 2020 chairman for the Miami Association of Realtors Residential Board of Governors. Okay, that's quite a lineup, Janet. Why don't you kick us off?
I am absolutely happy to. And I think they're all rock stars. So we'll just kind of move forward from there. Thanks, Jeff, and welcome to all of you. Our board of directors passed a motion at our January meeting that we would pay the startup cost of any new chapters of your organizations in Missouri. We are anxious to hear all about your organizations, but let's start with NAREB because we already have 2 chapters in Missouri. Ericca, will you talk to us about that and your history nationally and in Missouri?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Janet, and thank you all for having me on. We are the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. We do have a local chapter here to which I am the local chapter president. We're actually called the Realtors of Metropolitan St. Louis. If you know anything about our organization, you know that we are one of the oldest minority trade organizations in the country. We actually got this started back in 1947 in Florida. And when Jim Crow laws were in full effect. And so a group of African-American realtors got together and formed a group to service their communities. And much like 1947, we are still doing that. There is still very much inequality in housing, and we strive to overcome that. We also strive to educate individuals on the process of buying and selling of real estate and wealth building, because we know that purchasing real estate is the foundation and cornerstone of wealth building in this country. So we are working very hard to lessen our debt to income ratios in the African American community, understand the process of buying and selling real estate, and then working to build wealth. And so we actually started our chapter back in 2018, and we're going strong. So thank you for having me. We are the Realtors advocate for our African American community, and we look forward to working with all others as well.
May I ask how many members you all have right now?
Yes, currently we have 35 members and growing. You know, COVID kind of gave us a little gut punch, as it did with everything else. But I will tell you that virtually we have been very, very busy. As a matter of fact, we have an upcoming home buying seminar because we have a MOU, a memorandum of understanding with one of our area churches. And so we are starting to work with our faith-based communities and making sure that information is being disseminated and available to those who want to either purchase their first or second home or vacation home, what have you, and also sell their current home.
Well, that's great. I really appreciate that. And Ericca, I really hope that you come to our Missouri Realtor meetings and participate because I think you'd be a wonderful addition.
I'm actually on 2 committees, Janet, so thank you.
Excellent. You know what? I didn't realize that, so my apologies.
No problem, no problem.
Open mouth, insert foot.
That's okay. That's so you're new, right?
Well, I'm not new, but you know what? I still do stuff like that. So we'll go from there.
It's called being human.
It's called sticking to the script, is what it's called. So anyway, let's go with Jim. Jim, what can you share with us about your organization?
So Janet, thank you for inviting me, John and Jeff and the Missouri Realtor Board. This is fabulous to share a little bit about ARIA. So we were started, ARIA, the Asian Real Estate Association of America, was started in 2003 by John Huang and Alan Okamoto, very involved in California Association of Realtors, but also with the National Association of Realtors. And they thought that we did need a time to have the AAPI represented. So we have currently 41 chapters and over 17,000 members, the largest Asian organization in North America. 2 of them are out of the country in Canada, Vancouver and Toronto. So, you know, what we're here is to advocate on sustainable home ownership and be a powerful national voice for the AAPI community when it means to legislate and to go to DC, to really let people know our community. And our 3-point plan was one of the big issues with the Asian American community. We're not a monolith, right? So sometimes people say Asians, but we represent over 26 different nationalities and 51 different languages. So that's tough, right? Sometimes it's hard to get people to communicate in our own language, let alone 51 different languages. And, you know, I always love to talk with Ericca and Jorge and everyone else. It's all of us groups, because one thing that I started working with the leadership, with Donnell and everyone else, is collaboration, cooperation, and we make this world a better place. So I'm very excited for us at ARIA, working for sustainable home ownership at AAPI, but reaching across, talking to other people, helping each other with our strengths. And we all have different strengths and weaknesses to help each other, uplift each other. So I cannot be more proud to be here representing ARIA to answer questions. And we will take you up your offer, because most of ARIA membership are not Asian Americans. They're not Asian. Many are of all other races, creed, and if you talk to them, we have fun events. We're embracing everyone. And if you reach out to me personally, I will connect you with any ARIA chapters, but I definitely will come out to try to hopefully grow an ARIA chapter in Missouri. So thank you so much.
Oh, that's outstanding. That makes me happy. And Jorge, you know, I'm just looking forward to hearing from you as a fellow Latino.
Well, listen, thank you. And as you can tell, my mic does have a Cuban accent, so I want to apologize in advance.
Yeah.
And Jeff, I share your pain of being a virtual chairman all year. Just like you, I've had to get comfortable looking at a screen, and I'm in desperate need as a Latino to get together, high five, give some kisses and some hugs to everybody that I see. I want to give John a quick shout out for recommending me here and lying to you guys and saying I'm a rock star. As you guys know, your CEO is a rock star, so congratulations on him. With that being said, I am lucky to be involved in NAREP. I've been involved since the first time I heard about the organization. I thought anytime you can help anybody get a responsible path to home ownership, it's your obligation. And being a Hispanic, knowing the low rates of Hispanic home ownership, I thought it was really my duty to get involved and see how I can make a difference. NAREP has been around for a very long time in South Florida. We have around 300 to 400 members at a time. Again, we're very involved when it comes to legislation. We're very involved when it comes to education and wealth building. But my favorite part really is the education part. You know, the part that we go out there and we educate our agents how to perform better, how to make more money, and how to get involved in the community.
That's great. I know I attend, I'm on the email list for the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I've attended several of their events, and it just does my heart good. Jeff, I think you're up.
Well, actually, we still need to hear from Ryan. Ryan, are you there?
Oh, Ryan.
It's okay. I'm the new guy, so
Sorry.
don't worry
No, no,
about it.
you were.
I was ready to be done.
You know,
Ryan.
you're actually on the other screen. So you can only see so many people, and you were on the other tab. So sorry, Ryan. There you are.
No worries. It's hopefully next year you remember who I am. If we do a good job this year, I'll be back.
This isn't my day job, right? It's a good thing.
There you go. Well, thank you both, Janet and Jeff, and obviously a huge thank you to John for the invitation to be here. It is a pleasure to be on a panel with the rest of these folks. Some very admirable leaders in this, I guess, virtual dais, if you will. We created the LGBTQ Real Estate Alliance to solve for a problem, and that problem predominantly is that in 28 states in this country, the LGBT community can still be legally discriminated against in housing in some shape or form. Unfortunately, there is no federal protection for our community. And luckily, we have some states which have passed legislation that supersedes federal policy, but the fight is still on for fair and equal housing. And as the LGBT community continues to expand and feel more comfortable in our skin and be welcomed to be who we are, you'll notice that we really do encompass the fabric of humanity. It's really easy to look at the gay rights movement of 50 years ago and say, well, those were just a bunch of angry white guys. That's not the case. That's not who we are today. We represent every diverse group and classification out there, whether you're Asian, a woman, a veteran in a wheelchair, or have some other ability or disability. We represent you if you're part of the community. So it's important to give a voice to that. Now, I'll let you all do your own research and Google some Inman articles as to why we came about when we did. But it's so important that we're on the scene. And in 90 days, we have created a 501c6 organization. We are, and in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and announce it. I just got off my board call transferring over to here. But about 2 hours ago, we signed an MOU with Missouri Realtors pledging our support to enhance the diversity in education programming for the state of Missouri. And in turn, John has asked that we help set up chapters in various locations in the state. So we're extremely proud. The very first state we've had an opportunity to sign an MOU with. Also signed an MOU with a couple of the national fair housing entities on the scene. And I'm proud to report that we are working with your executive directors on every single level, ARIA, NAREB, and NAREP, to get MOUs in place to work together as well. So it is a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited for this dialogue.
That's great.
Well, Ryan, so welcome to Missouri Realtors. We are very excited about that MOU. That is a term I just learned. So I thought it was an abbreviation for Mizzou, but now I know differently. So welcome. We're very excited. I mean, this entire panel is great. I recently joined NAREB, so I'm excited. Ericca, I don't know if I'm your newest member, but I'm excited to be among the newest members.
You are one of the newest members.
Hey,
Spotlight is on you.
I love it. I'm the new guy. That doesn't.
I was able to
very
say
often.
35 because of you.
Okay, awesome. And I will tell you, I look forward to becoming a member of every one of these groups that are represented on our panel today. It's such an incredible thing to have you all with us. I know there are many others in our audience that are eager to join each of your national organizations, and we will be sending a survey to all members of Missouri Realtors so that if they are interested in joining or creating a local or statewide chapter, they can do so. And just to reemphasize what Janet said a few minutes ago, we have budgeted to assist those members in setting up those chapters for whatever joining up or signing up costs that there is. That I'm very excited about that. And as we said already, and many times, 2020 has been a very unique year. Let's hope that it's a unique year. But there are also there's a lot of tension in our country. Talk to me about what special projects you all are working on, you've undertaken, or how you're connecting with members that may be different from how you've operated in the past. Let's start with George this time. Now, first of all, George, I was told you pronounce your name George.
Yes,
So
I
just
do.
so Missouri Realtors don't think that I'm mispronouncing your name.
Jeff, if you buy a house for me, you can call me whatever you want. George, Jorge, it really doesn't matter.
Spoken like a true realtor. All right, very good, very good. What are you doing different this time in 2020?
So you know what? I think I'm doing everything different. To be quite honest with you, from a brokerage perspective, from a business perspective, communication has changed drastically. As we're doing right now, we're Zooming as our main source of communication, but we've had to dig even deeper and say, how can we, from a mental health perspective, connect? How can we, from a training perspective, connect? How can we add value in a way that we haven't done it before? And how can we be consistent, especially during these times where we're, at least here in South Florida, we're in quarantine for the most part. Everything's pretty much locked down, where we're starting to open up. So we are innovating, inventing as we go, trying different things from an association perspective or from an association perspective, looking at different virtual creative events to get people together and collaborate. And again, we're failing fast. We're finding out what works fast as well. And, we're sticking to that script pretty much.
Very good. Jim?
Yeah, so for Aria, I was busy at first for traveling around the country. Almost every 3 days, I was installing a chapter president. And then all of a sudden, for me, March 13th, everything stopped. And we started to readapt, unwind everything because we were all uncertain how things were going to progress. Are we going to have a cure? Is this going to happen, that going to happen? So eventually it all just kind of stopped, that we had to figure out another way to get our message out, to get our value out to our members, our sponsors, our people, and still advocate for home ownership. So we did practice and go onto a virtual platform like Zoom and other platforms. And then we realized that it was the good content, the great speakers, right? Because now there's so much content, there's so much information out there that we started getting good information, really promoting it, being a little different. So I always told my leaders, let's do what we have to do. One, we got to inspire, keep people encouraged, right? People positive, as George said, right? Because of the thing, it's the mental attitude, right? Staying that positive nature through this tough time. And they're really adapting and sharing best practices, doing the education, getting our sponsors involved, with the State of Asia America, which I'll share. It really disaggregates to show the information of the Asian American, where we just crossed over 60%. This is the first time we actually crossed over the 60% threshold. But with the State of Asia America, we disaggregated. So from Pacific Islanders, it shows from micro Asians, there's a 25% home ownership up to the Taiwanese American, where they're close to about 71%. So when you mix it all together, it looks like we're doing okay, but when you disaggregate, there's a big difference. And one of the big things that people should be excited to learn about the AAPI community is many of the AAPI community is moving towards the South and the Midwest because of the affordability factors, where many are moving into gateways first, but then looking for affordability, good schools, good areas. So this is something that everyone should really understand, and we'd love to help set up a chapter there so we can further educate and collaborate with everyone here.
Looking forward to it. Ryan, I see you on my screen, so you're up.
Wonderful. What are we doing different? We created an organization. At the end of June, we launched the organization, and we have a unique opportunity to build something from the ground up. And I say that because it gives us the ability to be very intentional about the inclusion, the equity, and the diversity that we want installed in this organization from the get-go. It's easy to change with the times, and it's easy to look at a scenario and adjust for where you're lacking. We're trying to incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusion into the foundation of the organization. And that includes bringing the ally community to the table. I'm up here in the Twin Cities, just north of y'all, and I don't think it's any secret as to what we've been going through in Minneapolis and St. Paul. over the last 90 days, and further what the country has been going through. It's not just COVID. This is a time of change, and this is a time to embrace that change, in my opinion. And so when we look at our community, certainly we have members of racial diversity and ethnic diversity, but we also have an ally base that we need to keep in mind is at the table. And for us to continue the fight for housing equality, it's more important than ever to bring those allies to the table to continue to fight alongside of us for what we're trying to accomplish with equal rights in the country. So there's been a lot of focus on how do we reach out to the folks who have empathy, who care, but aren't engaged. And you'll see as we deploy our chapter program, we actually launch on October 1st. With right now, we've committed 43 chapters in 32 states, including DC and Puerto Rico, that we're going to have a very strong ally presence. And Jeff, I love what you said at the beginning of this, that you hope to join as a member of all of these groups. There's a place for you at each one of these tables, and you might not be a gay or bisexual man, but hopefully you are an ally, and you're just as welcome to the table as an ally to the community.
I appreciate that, and I look forward to the establishment of chapter in Missouri. I look forward to the time when we can all get together in person, and absolutely, I look forward to being a part of your organization. Now, one thing I will mention, we've also got a great deal of diversity in our panel as far as where they are. So George is, he's down in Southern Florida.
Miami.
Jim, you're in California. Ryan, it's probably already winter where he is, but Ericca gets the last word because she's a Missourian. So Ericca, go ahead.
And proud of it, John.
There you go.
We're really focusing on collaboration. For us this year, that's our key word, is collaboration. We cannot operate on an island. It is going to take all of us to pull us out of this mess, if you will. And no one race, no one group, no one organization has the capacity to do that. And so if we're going to survive, we understand that we must collaborate. That's first and foremost. We also have several initiatives that we've been working on. Because we're not doing as many things in person, but we do have the house, then the car, focusing on really moving millennials from renting to owning in our communities. And we're starting to definitely see some movement there. They're not buying as high, but they are buying. And so then we also have our initiative, our faith-based initiative that I kind of alluded to earlier, where we're working with a lot of our faith-based partners here in Missouri. Right now, we have 2 MOUs that we are working on and working with 2 of our area churches. We also have what our national office developed, which is called the Debt-Free program, because we know that debt service in the African American community is really stunting the ability to be able to purchase real property. And so we really want to we're going at that head first and head on. So, allowing them to understand the power of their purchase and what's good debt, what's bad debt. So we have launched that. So we have 3 of those prongs actively going on simultaneously. We're also, what's different for us is that we've not encountered as many social issues. We've kind of left it to the Urban League and the NAACP, but again, we realize that we must collaborate, because as much discrimination happens on that end, it's also still happening. As Ryan has stated, there within the LGBT community, there's still housing discrimination. We know that redlining is still happening in the African American community with evaluation of property. So it's a constant battle. And so we really want to work on collaborating. So those are some of the very different things that we're doing this year versus what we've done in the past.
Incredible. I want to thank you all again. Now, I also will say, George, I've been practicing to join your organization 200 days straight streak on Duolingo. So when we get together, I'll be ready. Jim, could you pick me out one of the 51 languages and maybe the easiest one? But thank you all for being here today. I'm ecstatic to have you all. Before I fill you in, our members in on the several upcoming diversity events, we want to show our appreciation for the continued support of sponsors. USA Mortgage, who is our annual sponsor, main event sponsor, and our Thursday virtual yoga prize sponsor. Form Simplicity, Realtor.com, and Cutco Closing Gifts, who are tonight's virtual reception and trivia sponsors. So now we will share a brief video from Home Warranty Inc., who is our opening session and our conference grand prize sponsor.
Buying our first house was a huge step for us. We had been saving up for the down payment for over 3 years.
Our realtor talked to us about home warranty. Knowing that having spare cash for big repairs or replacements in our first few years of home ownership would be hard, we agreed. So at our realtor's recommendation, we asked the seller to provide a warranty at closing.
We are so glad we did. Within the first month, we already had to call for service on our air conditioner and our refrigerator.
Home warranty was easy to work with. They provide 24-hour services and match you with pre-qualified local contractors. If they do not have a contractor in your area, they work with you to help select a local contractor to use.
And we only paid our trade service fee of $75 per claim, and the contractor billed home warranty directly for the rest.
It wasn't just about saving money on future repairs. It is also really helpful to have knowledgeable service adjusters who can let you know what the true cost of a repair should be. Neither one of us are very good at diagnosing or repairing home systems or appliances, so having a trusted advisor is key.
We are so thankful for our warranty and our relationship with Home Warranty. They have local reps who I can call if I have questions, we can file a claim online, and we have our claims handled quickly and efficiently. Needless to say, we are big fans.
Yeah, home warranty really protects what matters, our family and our home.
And thanks again for your sponsorship. There are several upcoming events I would like to highlight for you. First, on September 30th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., we have At Home with Diversity course with Nate Johnson as the instructor. The course is titled Expand Your Business and Horizons, Cultivating Multicultural Relationships is Good for Your Business. By developing a business practice rooted in inclusion and equality, you can help buyers of all cultural backgrounds achieve the dream of home ownership. And what more do I have to say? Nate is the instructor. I mean, come on, that's good stuff right there. Janet?
Okay, and my script just disappeared. I'm just like a crap magnet today.
How about if I handle this for you?
You go ahead.
So another event that we're all excited to see is from the St. Louis Realtors Inclusion Advisory Group. They've got a webinar coming up on October 7th, and everyone in the audience is cordially invited to attend this annual diversity event. St. Louis Realtors has partnered with Missouri Realtors, NAREB, and the Realtors of Metropolitan St. Louis, of which I'm number 35. Their program will explore the economic impact of closing the racial wealth gap. You can see the registration page on the screen. If you go to stlrealtors.com, you'll find this on their events page. The goal of the program is to help remove communication barriers, encourage interaction and fellowship between realtors that are different from ourselves so we can improve behavior, change systems, and challenge laws that adversely affect the financial stability of Black individuals, families, and communities. Ericca, who is here with us this afternoon, will serve as the host for the event. Congratulations, Ericca. And the keynote speaker will be the second vice president of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers.
Great job. I caught up.
Yeah, so that was my Janet impersonation. Well, there you go. As I said at the beginning of the program, in January, we focused on our core value of engage. And in April, it was advocate. In this conference, we're focused on lead. As you've heard today from our panelists, realtors have a duty to lead because our role with our client doesn't just end at the closing table. It continues for life. We don't just have licenses to practice real estate. We answer a higher calling as realtors. I've done this before, but humor me while I quote from the preamble of the Code of Ethics. Because while we're pretty familiar with that first paragraph, under all is the land, and that this requires the creation of adequate housing, the building of functioning cities, the development of productive industries and farms, and the preservation of a healthful environment. It's the second paragraph that continues to stick out to me this year more than ever. Such interests impose obligations beyond those of ordinary commerce. They impose grave social responsibility and a patriotic duty to which realtors should dedicate themselves and for which they should be diligent in preparing themselves. Realtors, therefore, are zealous to maintain and improve the standards of their calling and share with their fellow realtors a common responsibility for its integrity and honor. We must never, ever forget the realtor commitment to a fair and accessible real estate marketplace for everyone. That's why on each output group and mission committee agenda for tomorrow, members will see a special agenda item for the group to focus on. I challenge each and every one of you, everyone, to ask in your output group or mission committee meeting, what groups of our members or the public are missing from any conversation we're having on any subject we debate, discuss, and take action on. This isn't something to be put off to the end of the output group or mission committee meeting. This is something to keep in mind and to bring into each and every one of the issues and discussions that we have in those committees. I can personally say that I have learned a lot this year. I like to think that I've grown personally by having to adapt, improvise, and overcome like never before. And in some parts of the year, to seemingly do that in an entirely different way every day. We must make sure that we are always challenging ourselves and each other to be more inclusive in the actions that we take as an association. And it's not the job of just one committee or one output group. It's the job of every committee and every output group. And from this day forward, I recommit that that too is who we are. Through the many and various challenges of this year, realtors have embodied the principle of lead. They led when meeting the challenges of engaging with our membership. They led when it came to advocating for our industry and keeping real estate defined as essential and open throughout our state. And they led when it came time to navigate an extraordinarily legislative roller coaster session and got remote online notary passed into law, something that is coming in handy in our current economy. As the clock on my term as your president begins to approach the twilight hours, I want to ask every one of you to lead in one more way like never before. Hundreds of thousands of people in communities large and small are suffering as the result of the turmoil and tension of this year. At the very least, many have become even more detached from the idea of the American dream, a dream of which we, as realtors, are the guardians. The American dream is a light of hope that we hold in our hands, and which shines the most brightly when that hand is stretched out to someone else. My friends, fellow realtors, it is time like no other for all of us to go into our communities, all those many communities around our state, and shine the light of the American dream. It's time for all of us to lead our nation, lead our state, lead our individual communities, and lead our economy. No other people have the will, the way, or the spirit to lead like only we realtors can lead. It's time for realtors to stop watching the news and to instead start making the news by working within our towns, cities, and counties to bring the American dream home to all. When we started 2020, we said this year was all about the vision. Well, it's time to make the achievement of that vision our legacy. I look forward to seeing you throughout the day tomorrow in our virtual output groups and committee meetings. The agendas are on the schedule page of the September Business Conference website. And there is a lot of exciting business that will be accomplished. We also have our annual meeting tomorrow afternoon, along with the Leadership Academy graduation. And of course, tomorrow night, it's the annual Robert W. Borgman Call Me Bob RPAC auction. We will have a live auction tomorrow night, but the silent auction, boom, just opened. And it will close Friday at 1 p.m. You see how you can do it when you're President, Janet? You just go boom, and it starts. You need to register for the auction in advance. So right now, before you forget about it, go to mr2020.givesmart.com or text MR2020 to 76278 and register yourself for the auction. We're going to keep this screen up for just a minute so everybody could do it. You do not need to register in advance. mr2020.givesmart.com or text MR2020 to 76278. Man, that's a lot of numbers right there. Also this year, we will be hosting the RPAC trustee election a little bit differently, just like everything else we've done this year. Every RPAC Mo member who has contributed at least $15 to RPAC this year is eligible to vote. If you registered for the conference and meet this criteria, you will receive a ballot via email after this meeting. There are 7 candidates and 5 spots available. You may vote for 5 candidates. Note, there are a total of 12 elected trustees, but there can be no more than 3 trustees elected from the same local association. St. Louis currently has 2 trustees, meaning that if 2 St. Louis candidates prevail among the top 5, only one will be seated as a trustee. All ballots must be cast by 5 p.m. tomorrow. If you met those qualifications and you, for some reason, do not receive a ballot, please contact Erin at Erin, E-R-I-N, at morealtor.com. Erin at morealtor.com. We will announce and congratulate the winners during the Board of Directors meeting on Friday. Now, just as we had in April, this is one of my favorite parts, you will find the virtual hallway on the schedule. It will be open several times during the day tomorrow for you to pop in and chat with other realtors from around the state. If you're like me, the hardest part of these virtual conferences is missing seeing people in the hallway and handshakes and hugs, and back when we could do those kinds of things. So when we're doing these meetings virtually, the virtual hallway is a really great way to see old friends and make new ones. And I encourage everybody to be in the hallway between meetings. I want to give another big thank you to our panelists today. Thank you so much for being here, and to our strategic planning committee for encouraging that we embrace emerging issues at every meeting. As always, Missouri Realtors, I love you, and I'm honored to be on the same team as you. God bless you. I hope you will join me now as we get together with fellow Missouri Realtors while testing your knowledge with virtual trivia and maybe BYOB. That's all I'm going to say about that. Sorry, John. One final special message to you. While Missouri has been fighting COVID-19, your Missouri Realtors leadership team and staff have been fighting for you, because in 2020, it's all about the vision. Enjoy your evening. Thank you, and see you at trivia. Bye-bye.